Alright, hello everyone once again, and actually remember to start the timer that time. We're going to continue with Generation 1. We are on the Goddess Morrigan quest. Everybody's making fun of my pronunciation lately, so I'm going to try. So, Morrigan. I'm just going to go with that, and we're going to go. So, first you have to talk to Crystal, and then you have to talk to Duncan and Tircano. I don't believe the goddess would never turn her back on us. This must be some mistake. I'll do anything to prove that Tarlatch is wrong, and Morrigan didn't abandon humankind. I want to help uncover the real truth. Please tell Tarlatch how I feel. Do you need anything else? Nope, we're good, Crystal. Thank you very much. We are now instructed to go talk to Duncan and Tircano, even though Crystal just told us to go to Tarlatch. I guess we're going to talk to Duncan anyway. So, yeah. I would try to wait for the moon gate, or try to wait to start so we can go to the moon gate. But it looks like I'm still 30 in-game minutes off. We do have to go talk to Tarlatch soon after this. And so it'll be very useful if it's night, so you don't have to wait around for him to spawn like I have in the past. However, that is one quest removed from this one, so we may have to wait a little bit of time anyway after this quest completes. So we'll go to Duncan in just a moment, as soon as the moon gates are up. And I know I could walk there each time, because the moon gates won't always be up. However, I believe I've walked to and from Tircano and Dunbarton enough that you can generally guess the route, and it's a pretty simple straight line anyway. So you should have an easy time getting there, especially with the free thoroughbred they give out now. However, if you have the moon gates, that's pretty good, especially since Tarlatch you can usually only talk to at night. So yeah. If the moon gates are up, then it's night, so you're able to talk to Tarlatch when you need to, depending on how long it takes you to do the rest of the quest requirements, and or wait for the quest to come at all. And so it's going to be a bit more talking after this, and then hopefully we'll get to the next dungeon in time, and we'll be good. So, had enough time for my thoroughbred to respawn as far as summoning time goes. And I don't know how long the next quest will go, so I may have to stop recording and record a little bit. Usually not too long, though. But if it doesn't come in like a minute or so, then I'll just wait while not recording. So I'm talking Duncan. Okay, we know what Duncan looks like. ... It's hard to believe that such a thing could have happened to Moors. Is he still alive? And this is the first time I've heard of how much he hated humans. Please, don't speak of this to anyone else. It's better he remembered as a hero. Besides, we may have gotten something wrong. I'd like to investigate this more on my own. I'll have to read the book Moors wrote. Can you get it from Tarlatch for me? Sure, we can do that, Duncan. If you have anything else, let me know. Nope, we're good to go, Duncan. That quest automatically completed, so we automatically got that 3 AP, 6,000 experience or so, and 2,250 gold, which is nice. And we automatically got the next quest. So now I have to go to Tarlatch, which is good. That's night, so we can talk to him easily and do that. Now there's 4 quest objectives over here, and all of them are talking, so yeah, so we're gonna go do that, driving the story a little bit. I'd like to read the Book of Revenge. Would you borrow it from Tarlark on my Tarlatch? Tarlark? It could be Tarlark. Some things are pronounced with the CH, not a ch sound, but a k sound. But I don't know. That was an awkward silence. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce Sidhi Sniachta. That's a fun one. Mabinogi is a Korean game based off of Welsh mythology, so the pronunciation are no doubt going to be varied from player to player just because of different reading styles and whatnot. And also the English language is, well, a lot of English speakers may have trouble pronouncing it because the English language is just so chaotic at times. Ooh, hello, Miss Giant. That would be my dog making a fool of himself. Oh, I forgot to read that first thing. You're telling me Chief Duncan of Tircano wants to borrow my master's book? I guess it should be okay. He is a wise old man who has been through a lot, and he may be able to catch some things that we may have missed. Please give this copy to the chief for me. Is there anything else? Nope. So we go from epic adventuring, finding the thing. Oh, just talking to me. Hold on one moment. And we're back. Sorry, I don't like recording that's and we're back. Sorry, I don't want to record people unless they know that this is going to be posted on YouTube, because some people are weird about that. Some people don't care, but just in case they would mind if they were suddenly on YouTube, I'm taking that off. Just to be considerate and whatnot to random people on the game. Anyway, so I can't really help if I just like walk past and like that right there. I can't really help that because it's an MMO. You're bound to run into people. But if anybody's talking to me or otherwise doing something like that, they might not to lengthen their time in the video. Of course, some people may like to be in the video no matter what. But at any rate, we're now talking to Duncan because we have the Book of Revenge. It should be right there. Yep. So actually, if you didn't get to read it last time, you turned it in already, and you weren't able to read it, you can read it then, if you so wish to do it. I think I'm actually going to start reading the books and then giving a summary after I get them, just to make the video more story in-depth, since that was the original reason I was doing G1 in the first place, was for more of the story. The book Mars wrote, let's take a look at it. Duncan skims through the book. He is a much faster reader than me. Interesting, I see. Is this the end? This can't be. Lucky, it doesn't seem like this book ends here. Judging by the book's writing style and structure, it seems like there should be more to it. Looking at the introduction of the book, it seems like a three-part series. It's hard to comment on the goddess's intention just from this part of the book. Could you find out if there is another book? If we can get a hold of the other volumes, we'll be able to figure out how best to respond to Mars and the goddess, and what exactly to say to the king of Alich? I don't know. I'm sure you're aware of this as well. It's difficult to get the intention of the king and the lords with something as vague as this. I don't know where you found the translation of the book, but please inquire of the existence of the next volume. Thank you. Do you have anything else? Nope, Duncan, we're good. And who do we know that knows lots about books and foamers and stuff? Crystal. Or at least she knows lots about foamers, so we'll see. And apparently Duncan's an English major. Nah, just kidding. He knows lots about writing or something to figure out that's a three-part series from one book. I mean, if it said in the back leaf, part 1 of 3, then that would be a whole lot more a whole lot more revealing than just reading it. I read it, and there's a couple of texts in the back, but it kind of seemed like it did kind of seem unfinished. It doesn't actually conclude, but it's just a bunch of ravings about how evil humans are, so I wasn't really paying attention too much to the structure in the first place. At any rate, there's apparently 3 more books, and it's probably going to be, well, I ran this before, so I know we're going to have to collect all 3, but by this time you could probably pretty easily guess, so you have to collect at least the second book, and then the 3rd book as well. Is another volume to this book? I'm not sure. Based on the introduction, it seems likely. I've learned that this book is very popular amongst high-ranking foamers. I only found out while I was translating the book. Sorry I'm not much help, but Aria, that's how I'm going to pronounce that, knows something about this. When it comes to book, no one's more knowledgeable than her. Anything else? Nope. We're just running G1, that's all we're doing. It's not even holy water time. What time is it? It is 1:20 a.m. in game. What kind of priestess hangs out at the church at 1:20? I don't know. What kind of bookseller stays open at 1:20? I mean, right now I could buy several books from Aria, and she wouldn't care. Well, she'd make money, so. But anyway, what are all these people doing up late at night? I have no idea. The Book of Revenge? I don't think I have a book by that title. I'm certain our distributor doesn't carry it either. Our distributor? I'm pretty sure she's the only book person. Anyway, trust me, I know all the books we carry here. It's a 3-volume set. If you already got the first volume, then I can't sell it to you as a set either. I doubt they'll let me order each volume separately. Is it written in the Foamer language? I'm afraid you have to look elsewhere for that. It's going to be hard to find a human bookseller to get such a book, don't you think? Lucky, was it? You have quite unique taste in books. I'll tell you what, you've piqued my interest. If you know a number of explorers and scholars. Ask around. If I hear anything, I'll get in touch with you. Anything else? Nope, we're good, Area. 3 more ability points to our skills, and we don't have a quest. So, we're only 8 or nearly 9 minutes in this video, so I'm going to stop recording, and when I get the quest, we'll continue on. Alright, it only took about 2 minutes to get the quest, so not very long of a wait. Just don't want to record 2 empty minutes of nothing. And there's a lag spike, so I can't move, but we have to talk to Area. And she has a question mark over her head, so it's good. Alright, here we go. Lucky welcome. We got a new keyword. Probably should have read that. It's Wizard's Note. It's for the dungeon coming up. Spoiler, I guess. Do you remember the book I gave you before, Land of Eternity, Ciar Nanog? The author of that book, Leslie, called. You see, Leslie's a famous historian and avid explorer. She sent me this note. It says that she once saw the Book of Revenge inside Ciar dungeon written in the former language. She said, if you offer this note on the altar, you'll be transported to where you can find the book. Apparently, this note has some kind of magic on it or something. And here, this is Aria's special gift to you, a red wing of the goddess. I'll give you the note and the red wing of the goddess. Wish you best of luck. If you happen to lose the net, come see me again. So, if you use the note, you can come back to Aria to get it again, and you would need that in case you fail the dungeon, which is Ciar dungeon. Ciar Wizard Note. It is similar to Ciar Normal, but a tad bit easier. It's a bit shorter, and I believe it still has the same kind of boss though, so I'm sure I'll be talking more about that when we get there. However, the moon gates are just about up, so if you start the quest about when I did, you should be able to easily transport to and from without using the red wing, as if you've seen the rest of the series, you know I usually don't use the red wings. Purely because I like to save them for when I really need to get somewhere with the utmost of speed. I don't exactly know when that would be. Like, if you want to do the generation super fast, you could use the red wings. And that would help you, but, I mean, since I only have to go through the moon gate and... excuse me. Since you have to go through the moon gate and walk a little bit, and since you have a free thoroughbred now, it should not take you too long to get to Ciar if you use the moon gate. So Ciar, if you haven't been there before, is a dungeon tucked into this little cave, or big cave, I guess it might be considered, all the way around this valley, and there's plenty of foxes and wolves in this valley type area, or, well, it's surrounded by cliffs at any rate, where you used to have different quests where you would actually come and fight these monsters, like the brown direwolves and the black direwolves that are around here. However, since they changed the beginner quest, you no longer have to do that. But if you're just hanging around Ciar Cono and want to practice fighting, wolves are pretty good because they have a fair range of skills. They have smash, defensive counter. So, oh, wow, that was laggy. They have smash, defensive counter, and they will use them. They like to smash and counter, from what I've seen in my experience of fighting them. But they hit pretty hard for lower level players, and so they're good in that way that you're able to. They're good practice. What I'm trying to say, in practicing defense and not getting hit. Hello everyone, this is just a quick insert to say that the Ciar Wizard Note I originally ran for this Let's Play was not a very good example of how to run the dungeon. So what I did is I ran Ciar Normal Solo, which is very similar to Ciar Wizard Note, and gave a much better example of how to run the dungeon in that video. If you want to watch the original video, you can continue watching this video. However, if you want to watch the better example, feel free to click the link that should appear on the screen now, or there should be a link in the description if you want to watch the entire episode and then watch that other video. At any rate, thank you for watching so far, and if you have any comments or questions, feel free to post them on either video, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you for watching, and please enjoy the rest of the episode. So this is a Wizard Note, a note by Area from renowned foamers, ancient books often discovered in Ciar dungeon. Notes itself is placed to alter Ciar dungeon. It looks like I have to go it alone. Just one quick note. The wiki says, despite what the note says, you must solo it, so I figured the note had said you didn't have to solo it, but the note actually says you have to go it alone. So, you have your pets with you, which you cannot bring any friends or any helpers in this dungeon, so it's completely solo. So, I would advise to prepare well. Goblins are fairly strong in the sense that they hit pretty high for low monsters. See, that was on defense, even though it was a critical hit. It was still with defense on. So the goblin did a lot of damage to me because I only have 81 health, so 36 is a pretty heavy number. However, because the goblin, well, not necessarily because the goblins hit, but even though they hit high, they actually have fairly low HP. So if you're dual-wielding swords, you should be able to easily defeat them. Run at me, goblin. Come on. There you go. So, as long as, the one thing about goblins is they will multi-aggro, which means multiple of them will get mad at you and come at you. I don't know how to exactly explain aggro, but aggro is when the monster is actively attacking you. And goblins will do that in multiples, so like basically more than one. As long as you don't hit another spider, the spiders in Albi will only single aggro you. They will chain aggro you, however. But that's another thing for another time. Now, archers will definitely multi-aggro you along with the melee, like at the same time as the melee. However, they have fairly weak melee. Oh, anyway, the archers are fairly weak melee, and don't be afraid to use those beginner potions you've been getting since you started. Because if you don't, the goblins will drain your health pretty fast. And there's another lag spike. But anyway, as I was saying, the goblin archers and the regular melee goblins will double aggro you pretty often. That seems to be their whole... Oh, yep, he sniped me with a range attack, and I died. So, by far, the hardest part of this dungeon is how high the goblins can hit for newer players, and also that they can multi-aggro you. So I'm going to use some HP potions. However, this is wound. I believe I explained that in previous videos, but if you don't know, wounding will actually take down your max HP, so you can't heal that up with a regular HP potion. You'll have to have someone use first aid on you, or use first aid on yourself. However, that's less efficient. But at any rate, you could use first aid on yourself and fix those wounds. Or you could just leave them there and heal with what stuff you get. Archers are very adept at causing wounds, so if you're fighting archers, you'll find they get wounded a lot. Mimics also seem to have a high wound rate. But at any rate, the main problem with this dungeon is the damage of the goblins as well as the multi-aggro. If you want, you can skip these orb rooms by just walking around and hitting the orbs. That's useful, but however, if you're in need of gold or experience, it's usually good to kill the goblins. Well, gold's nice, and if I haven't already said so, but I try to say it, a lot of new players don't necessarily know this, but Foamer Scrolls are a great source of money, because you can turn in 10 of them for a reward, some sort of monetary reward usually. See, that was a 41 through defense. Even though I have the defense skill up, since it's only rank F, it doesn't take off too much attack. So, it did pretty good amount of damage, especially with the critical. Goblins do critical. This might be a nice time talking about defense. You do get the Adventurer's Crux armor earlier in G1, and that's very useful for defense. However, you still do not get a shield, and by far the standard kite shield that most people use is, well, the standard shield that most people use is the kite shield. The goblins right here have round shields, but to my knowledge they don't drop them. I died again. And see, if you notice, my HP got even lower than that. This might become a problem. I do have the healer house coupon right here I got from a while ago, but that will only allow me potions, well, that a normal healer would sell, or phoenix feathers. But since I'm by myself, I don't necessarily need phoenix feathers unless I use my pets. And that's actually a good thing I did not think of. You can use your pets for combat, and they're very helpful, especially with dealing with multiple aggro. You can either hotkey your pets to where you can just summon them with keys on your keyboard, or you can put them in any of these hotkey slots. However, since I'm kind of... the boss of Ciar Dungeon, of even this easier Ciar Note Dungeon, is a fairly difficult boss for beginners, because golems are very aggressive and can hit pretty high, and have skills such as of Stomp, which no other monster has at this early in the game. So if you want to, you can just run over to each of these orbs. However, you have to watch for the aggro. That goblin just aggroed my horse, so I can just desummon my horse and it'll be fine. That other goblin has aggroed me. And I kind of got pretty unlucky there, and I hit the last orb, but I can just run through here. However, if you really need golden experience, you can kill all the goblins. And that one's also a bad spawn. And if you get aggroed by one and you have to start fighting it, you may, unless you're very good at running away, you may have to fight the rest of the room, because goblins will also chain aggro, which I mentioned that spiders do. And basically, once they aggro you, and you kill the thing that aggroed you, another one will aggro you as well. And then that other goblin that had aggroed me in the other room seemed to keep the goblins in the room we were just in from aggroing me. And I think that might be an aggro principle, I'm not sure. I have not exactly the best study of aggro rules, only from what I've observed in my own playing. At any rate, when it's a mixed room like this, you want to kill the archers first. So let's see if I can do this. So I stunned him, so I get to the archer, and that didn't work. And here's deadly status. And he ranged me before I could windmill. Now, if you are a beginner, still under total 100, you can totally use those nail soul stones. I might use one fairly new, not fairly new here, fairly soon here. Sorry, I'm kind of having a hard time thinking. This is turning into a long video because this dungeon is 2 floors, and so I might cut this video in half if it gets too long. But at any rate, the nail soul stones for beginner will be replenished as long as you're under total level 100, I believe. And this character is only level 44. So I can probably do that fairly safely without ruining my under 100 status. Under 100 status gives you several things, like you can rebirth daily, I believe, still. And we're getting a lag spike. You can also, well, rebirthing daily is the biggest thing. But if you rebirth very often, you will lose your under level 100 status fairly quickly, because of how fast you can get levels after your rebirth. So I'm going to start using my pets here to help me gain an advantage over these. Originally, it's nice to use your horse against the archers because they move really fast. Horses do. And your pets can also serve as sort of an aggro shield by aggroing the other enemies instead of having them fight you. And you can see that every time my horse kills something, I have to finish it, and you won't get the gold or the XP from the enemy unless you finish it, or it is finished. So what you can do is you can go to options and change that. However, I can't do that while I'm recording because for some reason my recording software messes with options. So I'm going to turn that off real quick and then be right back. Alright, sorry, that took a little while. Well, I guess you don't really know that because I'm going to cut this video, but what I was trying to say is that you can set it to auto finish. It's called Summons Auto Finish. You just go to like Control and then Game, and the Game tab, add it out of the Etc tab, and it will your pets will automatically finish whatever they fight. So you'll get the experience automatically. You still have to go pick up whatever's dropped, but you won't have to finish the monster to see what they drop. So if you see something that they drop, you can pick it up. Another thing about wow, there's chests and Ciar wizard now. That's interesting. At any rate, if you notice those chests, if you're on a mount while you open a mimic, it will the mimic won't open until you either until you get off the pet. So if you either desummon it or just stop riding it, then all the mimics you touch while that will automatically aggro you and all attack you all at once. Or some of them will defense, but they'll all be aggressive towards you at any rate. So I'm getting lots of orb dungeons. I mean lots of orb rooms. That will depend on the dungeon because they're randomly generated. So you may not have as quite of a quick run as I'm doing, because I'm kind of speedrunning this because the video is taking long. But if you have a chest like this, you're going to have to fight, and I'm getting lag again, so I'll have to wait one moment while that clears up. But as you saw, the pets can be very useful. Oh, there's a way over there. The pest can be very useful. I believe the eagle is technically better for fighting, or at least as it levels up, it's better for fighting. And that can also um, expedite your fighting. And I got a daily tip. I'll explain about pet AIs in a second, because this one seems to be messing with itself. So if you go set guidelines, you can change what kind of mode you want your pet to be in and attack. I'm switch to auto attack mode, so it'll attack by itself. Collaborative attack mode will make the pet attack whatever you are attacking, and then healing mode will set it to use healing whenever you're low HP, and then command mode, the pet won't do anything unless you command it. And you can command it, command your pets by using an exclamation point and then a command. You kind of have to learn the commands. But say if I wanted my eagle to smash, I could say smash and then an exclamation point and it would smash. Now it would have done smash, but when I did that it was attacking a rat. So turn off the assist please, thank you. So it kind of wasn't a good time for the eagle to use smash, but if you ever needed your pet to use a certain skill, you can use it that way. And that's very useful, especially if you're having your pets fight with you. Like I am with my eagle. And you see I'm just kind of looting stuff while my eagle is attacking. And something I think I haven't mentioned yet is that you generally want to kill the archers first, just because they are the most annoying things. And my eagle just died. Windmill is a good option because it can attack multiple enemies. That's the boss key, which means we're nearing the end of the dungeon. That was odd. It should have done more damage, but apparently the defense I had loaded counted, but like not counting because the goblin still hit me twice. I don't know. But something about windmill is that while you're in a spinning animation, things can still hit you, and while you're in the spinning animation, things can still hit you, and you can't load counter while you're still spinning. However, you can load defense. So if something's running at you and you're still in the spinning animation for windmill, you can load up defense and kind of soften the blow instead of just getting hit outright. Now I have very low health, and it's probably very difficult to beat this boss with that low health. And you can also load smash during windmill. You can. There's some skills you can load during windmill, some skills you can't. You can easily figure it out with a bit of experimentation. But this is the boss. It is the golem, like a normal golem, the small golem you'll fight in Ciar beginner, and also a bunch of metal skeletons. Now, metal skeletons have the standard skeleton AI, which, except for they also have bows, but which means skeletons won't multi-aggro you unless you attack more than one of them. The golem, I believe, can multi-aggro with the skeletons, so you kind of want to avoid that. You can use your magic skills you get from the combat quest to kind of lure the metal skeletons away. Yep, you beat me through defense. I thought that might happen. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Nail for help. You really want to save these. Wait. You want to save the soul stones. Well, basically, you get the free beginner soul stones when you're a beginner, but when you're not a beginner, you don't get any more soul stones. So you're going to have to buy them after that with real money to have access to them. So you don't want to get too used to them, is what I'm trying to say. But if you use one of those, Nail will come and heal all your wounds and all your HP, so have full HP again, and then bless all your stuff except for the stuff that's on the ground, which kind of makes sense to some extent. But anyway, I'm going to try to lead this metal skeleton back. And since they hit so hard, even through my defense, I'm going to primarily use counter and windmill. And they do have range attacks. However, if you hit them with usually just one ice bolt, they'll tend to come running at you. And then so you can use a combination of ice bolt and counter and windmill and keep it going. However, you're probably going to need to counter after you use windmill, because you can't charge ice bolt while in the spinning animation windmill either. And I'm going to want to get away from his windmill, because that probably would not feel very well. So if you have... Oh, I was talking about shields earlier. A shield will both increase your defense overall, as well as your defense while you're using the defense skill. So, if you're really having trouble, shields are like the most efficient way to increase your defense, at least when you have like no defense at all, except for we have 14 defense due to the beginner equipment we get. And I probably should have started with the full charge firebolt like the other time. Firebolt, if you charge it all the way to 5 charges, will do very well. It gets a bonus. Sorry, it gets a bonus for lag. It doesn't get a bonus for lag. I wish it got a bonus for lag, because in the current lagginess, I would get a pretty big bonus. At any rate, you get a bonus for the more charges you have. You may only get the bonus on the 5th charge. I'm not entirely certain. I don't want to auto-charge it, because if he comes running at me, I want to be able to fire it. But he seems content to just stay in windmill, so I'm going to do that. So, you see I can hit 100 with a firebolt, and I might be able to do that cumulative amount of damage if I use smash in a combo. But firebolt's safer because it's ranged, and so it can kind of keep me away from the rest of those guys. Also, the stunning you get from ice bolt or firebolt is useful to kind of control the flow of battle. A note about counter: you don't want to stay in it for too long because it will steadily drain your stamina. And that's why I chose to quit it and use windmill instead. You could use a bolts to get it out of counter, however, windmill is faster to charge. So I'm going to hit this guy. There's a 47, and since Warhammers have slow stun, I have some more to... Oh, the golem aggroed me, and he sent me a deadly one-shot. So I'm going to try to pot up, but it's going to be very, very difficult to fight that golem. I was trying to finish off all the skeletons before he noticed me. Oh, I did not want to load defense. So the skeletons do about half my health in while I'm in defense. So another thing with the golem is they're very tall, so it's hard to keep track of what exactly they are doing. And for some reason I couldn't heal. However, as long as you touch the goddess statue, you should be able to survive there. And since I was fully healed by Neo, my wounds aren't going to be... Oh, those are stuck in VIP inventory, that's why I can't use them. At any rate, if as long as you hit the goddess statue, you can just go back there. You'll take some penalties, but they're not incredibly harsh. If you do it too often, you will be left with a very small amount of health later on. I did not know the treasure chest keys were there. About the treasure chests, I explained them last time because they also appeared in last episode. But you'll either get something out of the treasure chest, like an item, or monsters will spawn, or both. But in later dungeons, you can get some unique items from those chests, and so that's good to do. However, on these beginner dungeons, I'm not entirely sure they're worth it per se. But it was less worth it in the Moors RP because we don't actually get to keep. You actually don't get to keep it. But I probably would grab those generally. But since I'm kind of running long in this episode in the first place, I'm going to not grab them unless I die again. And if they're still on the ground, then maybe I'll get them. But they'll probably disappear depending on how long it takes me to get here. I thought that was lag, but I was actually just pressing the wrong button. So I'm going to load up Firebolt here because it's like an easy 100 damage. I mean, even at rank F, Firebolt, I can get an easy 100 damage, take down like a third of these skeletons' health with one attack. Oh, that wasn't a third. That was only 56 damage. But when you hit an enemy with Ice Bolt, generally you start running at you. And then that way you can prepare something like defense or counter a windmill to stop it. And you can also use that stun time, if you're quick enough, to go in for a closer attack. However, that's pretty difficult since I had to do it at a far range. That was a bad example of any technique whatsoever, so I would suggest not doing the thing I just did. I was trying to illustrate that you can use Ice Bolt to create some more combos. Like, usually after defense you can start with a normal combo, but since the skeletons hit me so hard through defense, the combo doesn't work very well. I know there's a treasure chest key up ahead, but I'll pick it up there after I do that, and if I die one more time, then I'll grab it. So here's 400 gold. That's pretty nice. And then here's 485 more gold. So yeah, those chests generally have more gold in them than the spawning chests do that you generally find in dungeons. I'll grab this because more than likely I will die on the golem again. And if I get too low health, I'll probably use another nail. And if you're low level or have low skills, this dungeon will be fairly difficult, especially since you have to solo. Once again, I forget to use my pets, which I could use my pets to at least somewhat distract the golem while I was trying to finish off that one skeleton and focus my attention solely on the golem. But that didn't work. And it used to be a little bit easier to fight golems in the fact that you could just alternate fire and counterattack. But ever since the cooldown, do I even have the healing skill? I have lightning bolt, but not healing. Okay, so so you can feed your pet. While we're talking about pets, can I be given to someone else? Well, guys, those potions are locked in my VIP inventory, so I thought maybe I might be able to use them to heal my pet. But you can't. But you can feed your pet the different potions and food, and to heal them back up, and the food, and also to fix their hunger if they're hungry. So I'm going to heal my eagle because he might be of use in this. Again, I'm gonna start with a firebolt just because it's a nice preemptive strike per se. Though it seemed that since I did like 100 and then a less amount, yeah, I'm probably split this into 2 episodes, but anyway. See, there's 59, so I'm wondering if the 100 was a crit. It could have been a crit. So you might be better even with, see, that was more of what I was trying to do with the stun. That was pretty close though, still. But that was more of what I was trying to do when I used Ice Bolt to try to stun the enemy. It's tricky because I don't know the exact windmill raise of a metal skeleton, so I don't want to get too close. If I really wanted to, I could use defense to soften the blow. Soften the windmill blow and just kind of tank it per se. And I forgot I'm not supposed to use defense against the skeletons. He's not dead, but he's really close to dying, so another Ice Bolt should do it. The nice thing about magic is it is ranged and it will always hit, most generally. Unless something really strange happens. So he's kind of a smash. I'm going to put that damage back in his face. Now I have Assault Slash, so I could have been using that. But of course, smash beats defense, so you're going to want to use that when you can, or you can use it. I mean, you don't necessarily need to when your enemy's knocked back, but it allows you another hit that is very useful for doing more damage, especially on these skeletons who have a fair amount of health compared to what I'm using anyway. And we're getting lag again, and I was really hoping, like, that could have been very bad because I was right next to the skeleton. If he would have gotten up while I was lagging, then it would not have been very fun at all. And I'm not entirely sure if he wants to smash me. He kind of had second, third, and fourth thoughts about that. But here we go. Now we only have the one more skeleton, and I'm going to show off Ice Bolt at 5 charges. Unlike Firebolt, Ice Bolt you launch each bolt for each charge instead of all at once. And I'm gonna try to drag this guy out because I should be able to Ice Bolt him and then run. And because of the stun time on Ice Bolt, you can, and if your enemy's far enough away, you can generally. Oh, I just canceled all the charges. That was another thing, but you can pre-charge them and fire them all at once. And an old trick is to have 5 Ice Bolt charged, launch one of them, or launch 2 of them. That will knock back the, well, not knock back, but stun the enemy. And sorry, it's hard to explain and do this at the same time. But I'm kind of spamming Ice Bolt just because I haven't been having so much luck with skeletons close quarters. But I do much more damage with the melee currently, and I might do even more damage. I had my double swords out. I was keeping the Warhammer out for the stun because it has longer stun than my double swords do. But the double swords, because I believe both swords get counted in with the smash damage, then that would overall be more beneficial than one weapon. Because even though the Warhammer has a high max, it's only one max, so you could do the math, and we got a hat. No enchants, but it's a hat. So the thing about golems is that they do have magic passive defense. And what passive defense is that without any skill or use by the monster or the player, it just automatically happens. So you can't really do much to not have them ping, because you'll hear the metallic ping. You say, "I'm gonna hit this guy's firebolt." But yeah, so no matter how you hit the golem with magic, he's gonna ping, and that will reduce the stun time of the skill. So normally Ice Bolt would stun the enemy, but that won't happen. The stun will be reduced for the golem, and if the monster has a high enough passive defense level, it'll actually ignore the stun altogether, and also if it's high enough, it'll also reduce the damage to 1. The golems don't have perfect magic defense though, so they still get stunned a little bit. It's not very much though, but the damage is reduced, but it's not fully reduced. At any rate, all this is to say that Firebolt will generally always knock down the enemy unless they have Advanced Heavy Stander, which I haven't described at all. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so I'm trying to eye what the golem's using to gauge what I'm going to do. Golems have a large hitbox, so you want to be wary of that. But you don't want to get caught in the golem's windmill radius, because they have a fairly good windmill, and it's a fairly large radius. But Firebolt will help you much, because it can beat a lot of the skills golems can use. It'll stop them from smashing. Like Firebolt is just good against golems, because it'll knock them back no matter what they're doing. And so I guess you could just say, oh, he's coming at me. So I'm going to use counter to stop that blow, and then he's using defense, so I'm going to use smash to counter that. He's using defense again, and I'm probably knocking him too far back to, it does seem I do more damage with the dual swords. Probably knocking him too far back to use assault slash. And this windmill, yeah, his hitbox is larger than I think. Another thing, stomp is a ranged attack, and if you're close enough, it'll hit you. But if you're walking while you use a stomp, the range is increased basically, so you can get hit from farther away. So because the golem has such a large hitbox, his windmill is also fairly large. That's why I'm using a ranged attack like Firebolt to knock him away. And then I by far do more damage with Smash, so I'm using Smash whenever he uses defense. But I don't want to do that when he's in that corner like he is now, because then he'll get knocked back and he won't have very far to run to hit me again. There we go. So as long as you read the skills, it's kind of hard because the golem is so tall. As long as you read the skills, you should be able to react to what the golem's doing. And this is but one way to fight him. I'm basically playing it safe by using Firebolt, and not attacking the golem while he's next to the wall. That gives me the maximum time to react because I'm far away from the golem. You see, I kind of run backwards to give myself more time to react to what the golem's doing. Now he's using Stomp, and Windmill won't cancel because there's lag. This could turn out very poorly for me depending on how the lag sorts out. The thing about the lag is that it did fix the counter cooldown, so I can cancel Windmill and do that. But he finished me off with that Stomp. He's below half health though, so we're doing fairly well. But we're below half health, so we'll see who wins here. I do have that cheddar chest key from earlier. And you could also use your pets to help distract the golem, or just to do some damage until they die, basically. You could send them out there, have the golem defeat them, and then just, that'd be some damage on the golem that you didn't really have to risk yourself for. Now, that chest didn't drop anything, and also just spawned monsters, so that's kind of the gamble of the chests. But I mean, these goblins aren't too difficult to defeat, so It didn't spawn archers with these melee-centric goblins also, which makes it easier. There's that defense while the windmill spinning animation I was talking about earlier. Because I forget that as your windmill rank increases, the range of the skill will also increase. And it's been a while since I've had a character with, well, not a while, but it's been a while since I haven't used rank F windmill in a while. Is what I'm trying to say, even though I didn't quite say that quite eloquently at all. And we're already at 41 minutes, and I don't want this to be super long, so I'm going to split it. But if you're watching this, I would have already split it, so I really need to tell you that. Now, eagles move slightly faster than human speed, so if your horse is out of summon time or currently in cooldown, then you can just do that, which is somewhat silly. Now, I'm going to use a kind of simple pet technique, which is just I'm going to send the pet in, and it's going to surprise the golem by, well, catching it unawares, and then I'm going to desummon the pet immediately after the pet finishes the combo. Now, the thing about golems is they can rest and replenish HP, but they won't be standing like that if they do that. So that was like a free 30 damage or so I got on the golem. See, that's the resting thing, and they will steadily gain HP, I believe. So we want to interrupt him. If I'm going to hit him with a firebolt, might as well do it fully charged. However, I would just do more damage with smash. But since he's up against that corner, I want to make sure. See, he hit me from all the way over there with stomp because I was moving. So if you're moving, you in effect greatly increase the range of stomp. And he stomped me again. So you generally want to move back. I was hoping he wouldn't use stomp again, but golems are very stomp happy, per se. I'm just gonna wait for my horse to respawn. This is quite honestly, if you're a new player, this is something you're probably to expect to die a lot and to revive a lot, because this is a solo dungeon. As far as new players go, it's a fairly tough dungeon to solo by yourself. If you want some practice, you could solo Ciar normal, which is actually a bit harder in this dungeon. So if you can do Ciar normal, not Ciar beginner, but Ciar normal, you should be able to handle this dungeon pretty easily. If you want some friends to help you practice, you can bring them to Ciar normal. Though the dungeon may be longer, it's the same exact boss, I believe, so they'll be able to get some practice against the boss. It'll be the same monsters, just there'll be more rooms. So if you're really having trouble with this, you can practice it with friends if you want, or you can practice it by yourself, or you can just run the dungeon until you get it. And if you revive several hundred times and just do one attack to the golem each time, you will eventually get it. That really isn't desirable, but it may be what you have to do if it proves overly difficult for you. Now, I'm gonna use my eagle, and the golem was normal attacking, so the eagle does much more damage than the horse, but only has a 2-hit combo, it looks like. Stop moving, stop moving, stop moving. Okay, that was close. Using stomp again. I'm getting ready for them to run at me. Yeah, they'll usually do that after you stomp a couple times and you don't die. I'm going to move back in case you just stomp. Stop moving once I'm out of the range. I should still be out of the range. I could use yeah. Oh. Nah. Seems to really want to use that, so I'm going to get him out of that rhythm. And just looks like he still wants to do that. When they're using stomp, as long as you're out of the range, you can use firebolt to stop them from doing that. Oh, I thought I was safe, but I was still moving apparently. That was kind of close. I would, what is it? Contest that decision by the ref. I don't think I was moving when he attacked. Especially because a giant stomp, the giant race in Mabinogi actually has their own version of the stomp skill, and it actually radiates out, so not all enemies are hit immediately after the skill is used. It actually goes out in a shockwave of sorts, and so if golem stomps work the same way, it technically shouldn't have reached me by the time by the time I stopped moving. And I'm getting lag, so I'm gonna restart Fraps real quick. Alright, so I do use Fraps to record, and every now and then Fraps acts up and starts recording, especially on these long videos. So the golem is very low health. I'm gonna get my eagle to soften him up for me as soon as this lag ends. And I can stare at the magnificent golem sprite. It's pretty cool how the rocks are all animated by themselves. Kind of detailed in some respects. And he aggroed me really quickly after the lag. It'd be funny, watch my golem finish him off right now. My eagle. Nope. My eagle probably could have finished off my golem. It was doing pretty well there, but I'm getting fraps lag again. Alright, so since you've seen me walk back to the boss room several times, I'm certain you don't need to see that first third that I just skipped. But, yeah, so this is basically a battle of patience at this point. For a low-level character, it is difficult to defeat the golem. Are there people who could have defeated the golem in one try with this same exact character loadout? I'm sure there are. I feel that I'm at least fairly good with the Mabinogi combat system. However, I'm not that good by a long shot. And also, it appears that I lost my sword in one of my deaths. You will occasionally drop equipment, like I just did right there, and that will be fairly expensive to retrieve. But I'm a cheapskate, so, I mean, I don't want to use my Nano Soul Stones, just for some reason. So, as you could use the Nano Soul Stones, like I said, I believe as long as you're under level 100, you'll get more of them each day. I think you get 3 each day, up to 13, or up to 10. Because I think you get 3 each day, but they give you 10 normal ones, it seems. Before that, which I use one of the normal ones. I wish I would use one of the beginner ones, because those are special and only for beginners, and the other ones function normally like soul stones, and I'm pretty sure you used to get 10 of them when you made a new character, and that's back when this character was made. However, since they've changed all the beginner quests, that may have changed. But like I said, this is basically a battle of patience, and this time I'm just going to ride in on my horse and smash the golem as fast as I possibly can, because he is so close to dying, and we need to get this over with, because this is going to be a very long video. And this actually doesn't even finish the quest. After this, you have to do the next quest. So, oh, that wasn't really running in on my horse and smashing him, but I'm just going to do this. And Assault Slash, come on, too far away. He killed me. I should just let my horse kill him. My horse would have killed him too. That's the thing. I'm definitely going to annotate and say, hey, if you don't want to watch me die about 20 times, you can just skip to the end of me killing this. And Fraps is acting up again, dropping my FPS. And now I'm down to 15. So, alright, so apparently I was running out of hard drive space, so that is at least one reason for the lag. And now all of a sudden Fraps wants to record at 15 frames per second. Alright, but the golem should be dead unless it's been resting the entire time. And then we'll actually see if its HP did regenerate, because when we left it last, it was basically dead. So, yeah. Anyway, so this might be what you have to do. Come back several times. I may fight the golem again, just to prove I can do it some other time. Okay, the golem did regenerate some HP. So I'm going to have my horse attack it to weaken it up, and the horse just killed it, so I probably could have just smashed it. Yeah, you may want to use pets for that fight, whatever's at your disposal as a new player. If you go it alone, it's going to be a tough battle no matter what you do. However, like I said, you can practice, but we did get the Book of Revenge, which is what we wanted, and it's a lot bigger than the other ones. But at any rate, yeah, that is Wizard Note Dungeon, but we'll continue with that book later. This is going to take a long time to render out, I just realized. At any rate, thanks for watching. We have to take us back to Crystal. Is our next objective in the quest. I guess I'll just take it to her now. See, this is why I use red wing, so we don't have a red wing back to Dunbarton. Like, they didn't give us one. However, we do have one to Math Dungeon, which we received earlier. So, it was about 6 hours in-game hours until the moon gates popped back up. So, but I'm just going to use the Math Red Wing of the Goddess to teleport to Math Dungeon, which is northeast of Dunbarton. And then we will go meet Crystal. If the game didn't crash. Nope, the game didn't crash. Okay. It was looking like it may have crashed. Oh, Okay, so T is the pet key for anyone who wants to know. And if you don't know that, you can just, it's the default pet key. You can switch it to something else like P if you want, then you need a new party key. At any rate, we have to deliver Split the Crystal, and then we will be done. Interesting note, what the wiki says is if you use the Red Wing of the Goddess to Ciar from Dunbarton and then carry a regular Wing of the Goddess with you, not a red wing, a regular wing you can buy at a healer or a magic shop, and that teleports you to the last town you visited. So if you take a Red Wing to Ciar dungeon from Dunbarton, the last town you technically visited would have been Dunbarton. So as soon as you finish Ciar, you can use a Goddess Wing to get back to... They look like the Red Wings. They're just in various different colors that aren't red. At any rate, actually, I could have used a healer because a lot of time healers carry them. So I could have used the healer coupon to actually buy one of those. But not everybody's gonna have a healer coupon when they're on Wizard now, so that would have been kind of silly. At any rate, now we can talk to Crystal. So you really was in our volume. I'm impressed. I didn't think you'd be able to find it. We found it. Oh, did we find it. I'll translate this book as I promised and let you know as soon as it's finished. Do you need anything else? No. Okay, so with the book that we worked very hard to collect, now safely in Crystal's hands, she will translate it and we will get the quest later to do that. So now I'm running to the Lost and Found, and we did make a decent amount of money from that dungeon because we had about... I guess you can look at it. How much money I had when I started the dungeon, how much I had to end it. But you can sell these building stones for 100 each, or use them in your homestead, whichever one you prefer, or sell them to players for possibly more than 100 each, depending on how badly the player wants them. Could also sold this Mongo cap that I had, unless I want to wear it. It's been a long time since I've seen how red this character's hairs are. That would work. But Yvonne is... I'm guessing that's how I pronounce it, is the Lost and Found in Dunbarton. And here you can see our sword that we dropped, as well as our water drop helm. The sword's only going to cost us 1,000 to get back, and since it has mostly full durability, it's not exactly beneficial to buy a new sword. This water drop cap does add a fair bit of defense and a little bit of strength. Well, adds 1 defense, 1 protection. But it's going to cost $21,000 to get back, so that was a tough loss. But if you use Neo, you can pick up your items, so you won't necessarily have to get it back. Now without a water drop cap, I could buy it back, but I don't think that's a good use of my funds. So if that also happens to you, well, actually, if you're a newer player, you won't actually even have that cap because you get that cap from the G13 quests. And I think as far as it stands now, you have to do the first 3 generations before you can do the other ones. You can't even do G13 anymore as a new player until later. So here's nearest. She's the weapon slash armor slash... She's a weapon shop slash armor shop slash blacksmith in Dunbarton. Just lots of things. And I believe she sells helmets as well. Many helmets. You can see that helmet we haven't lost found is actually $42,000. So... it's definitely cheaper to get that one I lost and found than buy a new one. However, there's also this one for $3,900. It has less durability but the same amount of defense and protection. So, you could buy that as well, just as a general reminder. If you want any of these helms, because they look cooler to you, then those are also available to you. Just thought I might throw that in there. But anyway, thanks for watching, and if you watched all the way through, thank you very much, because that was a long mission. But at any rate, this is going to be a long episode, so I'm going to cut it off now. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed G1, and I wish you good luck with Ciar, Wizard Note, if you are a low-level player, and happy Mabinogi. Just a side note, as soon as I ended the video, I got the next quest saying that Crystal translated the volume. So, if you're wondering how long that takes to wait, then you're good to go. But anyway, Again, I'm signing off.